Sometimes you start drawing and you just can't stop. And it's all just a matter of getting into the groove. Most of the time, getting out of a block, because I have plenty of artist blocks. Everybody goes through it, but the way I get through them is to just start drawing. Because a lot of times I think people think that they need, and welcome back everybody to the next episode of Let's Draw, Let's Talk. And I guess I'm talking about artist block again. Uh, but I think a lot of times people need context with whatever is they're drawing, and they need motivation and they need to be inspired, and so that keeps them from drawing. If you just start moving your pencil around on a piece of paper based off of something, yeah, then I mean, if you can go and have a piece of paper and just start doing this, and you'll find at the end of your time that you haven't it hasn't amounted to anything. So, like I said, just take up a piece of reference, have a small idea. I want to make some circles. Have a small idea in mind, something very, very minuscule, just to get your hand moving. And then once you start getting that hand moving, you get into the groove of it. Especially if you just quiet your mind and you shut off everything. You shut off your television, you shut off YouTube, you shut off music, you shut off the don't shut off the air conditioner. You probably need that's hot right now. But it's always nice to have that quiet place to not retreat to, but to fall into, and it really makes you productive, especially if you start drawing and then you're like, well, there's nothing else going on. Or I really want to watch YouTube because right now I really want to watch some YouTube videos, but I have been watching way too many YouTube videos, and I can't get out of that notion of like listening to YouTube videos and drawing. But all of a sudden, I find that because I can't figure out how to get my videos to feed through my like the output or input of my headphones and use Discord at the same time, or use what am I using, OBS, in order to record stuff, and I can't hear my videos, and all of a sudden I'm becoming more productive. Like it's just crazy how beneficial the universe can be whenever things roadblocks start to happen. You start to put yourself into and retreat to things that you fall back on, skill sets that you fall back on. And yeah, I think that's important, uh, especially if you've been building up the proper skill sets. You fall back on them despite the happenings of the world. So it's actually a blessing that I can't hear my videos right now, because I'd be talking over them and being all distracted, and then I wouldn't get very much done. But I've already drawn this in the last 20 minutes, and it's a decent little sketch, and it's not exactly based on, it's pulling reference from this. So I'm using this as a guideline, using this as a guideline. And so reference then becomes about, just picking and choosing ideas. And all of a sudden I've got my little alleyway, and I'll start to color it, and I'll probably color it based on this color scheme, and who knows where I can go from there. And so you use the events of life to your advantage. It always works out that way. And it doesn't matter how bad they are or what happens. If you can find it in yourself to pick yourself up and continue on with whatever goal it is that you have in mind, the opportunities that await you will still be there, and they'll open up to you, and things can happen. Things will happen. And sometimes those life events will occur that will change and shift your timeline. Um, doesn't mean it has to change and shift your vision for whatever it is that you're going for. And in my case, my vision is mastery of craft, and with that, mastery of self. And so whenever life things happen to me, despite where I am in my life, I know that I have a certain level, a certain skill set that I can fall back on, um, with which I can then creatively navigate around those aspects that are trying to change life or that are meant to change life, because change does occur, and if you're not prone to changing with it, then you break. So I pride myself on being uh, moldable, malleable. And you got to imagine it like a timeline. So here's your timeline, and here's you at the present, and here's the end goal. I want, uh, let's see, my goal is rather lengthy. It's going to take more than 20 minutes to explain. So in some cases, we'll imagine a person at the present and then imagine them thinking, I want to be the best illustrator. Okay, fine. So you've got your timeline and you're going along and you have like, how do I get there? Well, I need to go this. I need to do this. I need to meet this person. I need to have this ready. So you start to create these timeline points on your timeline, and you're going along. You knock off one, great. And you take another 2 years, you knock off another one. Take a year, take 2 weeks, you knock off another one, and then all of a sudden, life happens, and so now there's this fracture in your timeline. Well, what do you do? Do you just stop? You give up? No. What you do is you then think creatively and you say, okay, this life event has occurred. What I'm going to do is I'm going to branch off into this aspect and make my way around. You can even, it doesn't matter where you go, and make my way around this problem, but continue back to this timeline. Say another life event happens. Okay, I'm gonna go this way. Another life event happens. Well, got to keep going down this. Another life event happens. Gotta keep going. Gotta keep going. Another life event happens. Okay, well, another life event happens. Well, I gotta deviate back up into this. Gotta deviate back around. Like, it's just about being creative. Like, let's say, actually, this was a really sloppy example. Let's say life event happens, and you take a different path. Another life event happens, another life event happens, and then you find yourself going back to the path. And because of time, it's going to look like that. Yeah, so if you can navigate yourself around those things that happen in your life, you can always make yourself back, recorrect your course, like with sailing or with adventuring, getting lost in the woods. Um, You want to have a timeline. You want to have certain things plotted out, and things will come across. You'll come across things that will change your course. But as long as you have that main goal in mind, you can always make you can always make your way back. It's just a matter of, do you want to get back to that thing? Do you have enough willpower to maintain your course? Do you have enough passion? Do you have enough discipline? Do you have enough knowledge? Do you have enough information? All these things play a factor in the molding of our personal journeys. And then you get to a certain point where you probably say, is this thing that I'm headed towards, is that the most, is it the most valuable of things that I can allow myself to experience? And is it the most valuable of things that I can give to others in order to create a connection to better the existence of my fellow people, of humanity? Um, and I think that's one of the beautiful things about art is it's unifying natural elements where if it's through storytelling, if it's through uh, documentation, whatever, it doesn't matter. They all connect people in some way. Those things. I'm going to do some really loose little little things. I'm going to sample these colors too. Let's just sample these colors. Let's try that out. I like this orange. Mm, Let's browse on that. So, and I want everybody to succeed. Uh, who doesn't? You know, if you don't want everybody to succeed, I'm going to ask why not? Why don't you want everybody to succeed? Let's be a team player, and if everybody can succeed, then that's going to raise the level of growth. That's going to raise the level of competition for those who, might think that, oh, I don't want others to succeed because I want this, or I want to be the best, or whatever. But if we can get others to that level as well, then it's going to raise the quality of skill, raise the quality of the experience that we allow ourselves. So my question to them would be, why not accept the challenge when everybody is able to do something to better themselves and better others? Uh, don't be afraid of those aspects of competition. Just embrace it. Embrace it the way you would anything else that comes your way. If you're truly passionate enough, then you shouldn't be afraid of competition, despite whatever it is. Yeah, but competition, I don't know. It seems like some people would say, but competition, that creates negative energies, or that influences people to do bad things. And I would argue that it doesn't always do that. If you can find a healthy place if you can find somewhere healthy that instigates a healthy amount of competition in order to grow, and that's what I've experienced, then you can see exponential growth in everyone. And we want people to grow. That's how we create change. That's how we instigate matters of technological advancement, matters of economic advancement, is through growth. Okay, I'm not going to borrow too many more of those in there. It's easy to borrow color at this point, and this is just a concept, so these shapes are going to change. I don't know. I might end up using some of this information to sculpt out my own little alleyway uh, that I would like to create. But that's what you do: is we gather information, we regurgitate it, and practice, 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 and just use it to better our visual statements, use it to do whatever it is that's necessary for us to achieve that specific goal that we have in mind. And in my case, this goal is to not only exercise the aspects of my craft, but to get some ideas for creating these little alleyways. And if you don't have a digital pad, or you don't have something to work with digitally, there are other ways to do this. You can, as a matter of fact, you can take a piece of tracing paper, print out some reference, go look at a magazine, and pick and choose. Like, tracing would probably even be a better, more efficient way to get information down quickly, and then start regurgitating that information to the point where you're making those decisions a little bit faster. Um, but I mean, there's digital. It's really hard to argue with using digital to practice, because you can do so much with it more quickly, um, and get a varied result. Get a nice result either way. Got a little stone brick mortar kind of street road. see. And some people, oh, copying. Tracing is just copying. It depends on how you use tracing, honestly. It really does. Because tracing is not always tracing. And that doesn't make sense to people who don't understand the value of inserting information onto other bits of information and stacking on top of things. It's the essence of true drawing. This ability to take info and stack it on top and continue to add information, because that's what all drawing is. It's the increased ability to add information, or it's the ability to add different aspects of information to the same drawing and using the same manner of execution and tactile disciplines. I don't want that. And regurgitating that information to get a picture down. Now, let me make sure I said that correctly. Because this is just a really loose, really sloppy, and you can see how sloppy this is. But it doesn't matter at the end of the day, because then you spend a nice 40 minutes and you didn't think you were going to do any drawing. I didn't think I was going to do any drawing. And all of a sudden I've done 40 minutes of drawing. I have a bit of new, I have some new visuals that I can take and put into my visual library. It's good. Sometimes the hardest thing is just taking those steps to do it. And even though it's not a beautiful drawing, it doesn't have to be, because it's a matter of picking up new information and getting your hand moving. Because the people that are sitting there watching this video not drawing, you're already a step ahead of them. And if you're not a step ahead of them, then you're at least a step closer to your own goals on your own timeline. And I forgot what I was going to go over as far as the aspects of drawing and tracing, but I might address that next episode. In the meantime, I hope you guys have a good night, and I bid you adieu.